Hello everyone and welcome back to the Carcode channel. My name's Sam, and if you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below as it really helps my channel grow. Before we start the video, I just want to give a big thanks to Jason from Audi for the cap. So today, as you can see, I'm going to be doing a review of the Audi Q4 e-tron. This new SUV is the cheapest in Audi's e-tron range, and it starts from £40,035. As you can see here, we've got the regular body style, but I definitely prefer the Sportback, which is an extra £1,500, but I definitely think it's worth going for that option. At the moment, if you do want one that's in stock, you will have to just go for the standard body style. Although the e-tron is siblings to the Volkswagen ID.4 and Skoda Enyaq, it looks completely different. All of them have their own personality and character. As this is such a similar price to both of them and you're getting such a premium brand and feel, I'd definitely say it's worth going for this one, although you will have to wait a few months if you want to spec it how you want it. This version here we've got today is the S-Line version in Typhoon Grey. Personally, I think this grey is probably the boringest colour out of all the range. There is more exciting colours like Aurora Violet, which is really like a dark, deep, rich purple, and also Gazer Blue, which is my favourite. The wheels are standard 19-inch wheels. As this is the S-Line, it has sport suspension, which means the ride can be quite firm. It does feel quite sporty for an electric car, but it's very jittery over bumps and bumpy roads. You definitely notice that while driving it. I definitely recommend the sport version. Although it is the base model, you get a lot of kit with it, and then you don't run away with options and bump your price up and up and up. There is one or two things I don't like about the front though, and one of these is the parking sensors. As you can see, they are quite chunky and they stick out quite a bit, as well as these fake vents. These don't lead to anywhere and are pointless. Again, at the back you've got them unsightly rear parking sensors and some vents which lead absolutely nowhere. So now we're inside the car, and as this is the S-Line, it does have the dark headlining. I'm definitely not a fan of this, I'm afraid. It does make the car feel quite cramped and dark inside. So I would definitely go for the sport version, as you can get the headlining in steel grey, which is a much nicer colour. The interior in here is actually really big. So let's have a little look at room in the rear of the car. A good thing to note is how wide the doors open at the back, so it's going to be quite easy to get child seats in and out. The floor is quite low as well. Inside there's plenty of leg room, absolutely tons of it, and loads of headroom too. Like I say, I'm about 5'8" and I've got about this much knee room and almost the same again headroom. So if you're 6 foot, you'll be absolutely fine in the back of here. You've also got this fold down armrest if 2 people are there. If not, you can have 3 people. There's no hump in the floor because of the batteries in the bottom. They are raised up a little bit, and the seat is quite firm in the middle, so only for short journeys really in the middle, but the other seats are absolutely so comfortable. The way Audi really carves out their seats and makes them super ergonomic, even with the down to the stitching, is really incredible, making these seats so comfortable for long journeys. This is a little view of what the back looks like. As you can see, when you shut it, feels quite dark in the back of here. Luckily the windows are big. One thing I did note that I really liked about the back is how chunky these aircon buttons feel. They feel so premium and so nice, especially for kids. They're so easy to use. And then you've also got 2 USB-Cs. The seat adjustment in this car is actually really decent. How high you feel, you don't feel ultra high, you feel just a bit higher than in a normal hatchback, but not as high as a normal SUV from the Volkswagen group, like a Tiguan for example. So you feel a little bit raised up, but not massively raised up. And you've got these sort of pull out things for your leg support if you're really tall, and I'm about 5'8", and well, it's a big car, you see, so I can see over the bonnet when it's fully up to be able to drive this. This is not good, because if I'm 5'8" and I can just drive this car, imagine if you're the average height of a woman in the UK, which is 5'5". That brings me on to some more annoying things about this car. The Audi logo in the middle of the steering wheel, it looks so flat and cheap. I know they're trying to move things forward, but this is just not good enough, Audi. It looks like it's off a toy. The door pockets that aren't lined with any carpeting at all. That's standard on a Ford Fiesta. This is just not good enough in a £40,000 plus car. It feels thin, it feels brittle, it feels cheap. The piano black plastic that's all over the cabin that easily picks up fingerprints. It's absolutely everywhere and there's just no escaping it. Another small annoyance I have with this car is the only use of charging points is USB-C. USB-C, USB-C, and there's 2 others in the back as well. This electric charge point feels super flimsy and this is locked. Yet another annoying thing about this car is what happens when you lock it. You'd expect the mirrors to go all the way in, but watch what happens. That's it. The horn sound on this car isn't so good. It sounds like a bus. Let's move on to some positives. For leather seats, these are really nice. They feel matte and they feel plush as well. And they feel comfy without you sinking into them or slipping all about. So this steering wheel design is completely new for Audi, really. And when I first saw it, I really didn't like it. I thought it was a bit awkward looking, a bit funny looking. But now I really like it, apart from what I said about the logo. That is such a shame about the logo because it just ruins, it takes the sheen off it. As well as this S badge, because I don't like S lines personally. But the leather feels so nice and the dimpled leather is nice too. It's really matte. I don't know how long it's going to stay matte for, but whilst it's new, it looks absolutely incredible. So in this car, you've got Sonos sound system, and this is a £365 option, or you can pay £1,200 and have it as a sound and comfort pack. The Sonos also contains a subwoofer in the boot, but this means you've got no spare wheel, spare tyre, or puncture repair kit. I mean, that doesn't sound good to me. A sunroof is optional in this car, which would be really nice to have actually. In the Skoda Enyaq, which is a sibling to this car, a sunroof comes as standard on the lounge variants, and that is cheaper than this car. But generally speaking, if you keep the specs on this a bit lower down and don't put too many options on it, you can get it for a similar price to the ID4 or the Skoda Enyaq. It's not going to add massive prices not as much as you'd think. A comparable ID4 to the Sport. The Sport starts at £40,035, and a comparable sort of ID4, the Style, starts from 38. Once you add an extra bit of range on there, they are quite evenly matched by price. The Skoda, however, does undercut the Audi by quite a lot. But again, it depends what options you put on it. You can get the Skoda to get above £50,000, so it's easily done. The boot on this is electric as standard, which is really good to know. And it is a huge 520 litres. Maybe a Sportback version has got an extra 15 litres surprisingly. Even though it does have that sloping roofline, it's got 335 litres of boot space. Not a big difference between the two, but that will add a little bit of extra practicality. The seats do fold down almost completely flat to the edge. Audi Q4 e-tron has 204 horsepower and is super speedy thanks to instant acceleration. The entry-level 35 model has a range of 208 miles, but this is the official range. So in real life, you're going to get somewhere closer to 175, 180 miles. This version here is the 40 version, and that has an official range of 317 miles, and you're going to get more like 280 to 290 miles. The charging time on your e-tron will vary depending on the battery size you go for and the charger you're using. If you're using a super quick 100 kilowatt charger, you can charge your battery from 0 to 80 in just 30 minutes, which is really fast. If you're using a 7 kilowatt home charger, which Audi use pod point, it can take about 11 hours. And if you're using a standard 3-pin plug, it can take 29 hours. So because this is an electric car, it does have pretty instant acceleration and it can really throw you into the back of your seat. This car also has the heads-up display fitted as well, which can tell you road traffic signs, how fast you're going, etc. It's quite cool, and it's displayed by a big iPad style screen in the dash. So the rear lights are super bright, they can't even show up on camera here. And these are also the matrix at the back as well. And you see what happens when you lock it? It'll do a little dance for you. So the same at the front, when you power it on, the lights do a little dance, and also when you lock it too. The sills are also illuminated here with the S-Line badge. So the lighting on this car is really, really cool in the dark as well, with these e-tron entry lights. When you open the door, it changes to the Audi logo. So should you buy the Q4 e-tron? Well, yes, as long as you spec it to how you want, I think you should. But that's going to take around 3 to 5 months, so happy Christmas.